Welcome back to Superstarglam. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then what are you waiting for? And be part of this Superstarglam squad family. Go ahead and click the little button down below. And also while you're there, click the little bell, the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of future videos. In this video today, I am reviewing the new, what is it called? Reverie. I don't know. I'm going to say Reverie. LA Girl eyeshadow palette. If you are interested to see the demo of me applying and using this palette to create this look, then just keep watching. At the end, I will show you the swatches and give you my final thoughts on this palette. So I have my eyebrows done only because I actually just got back from an early meeting I had. So I only did my brows. So now I'm going to just prime my eyes. And I'm just going to use what I always use, which is the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in soft ochre. This is my preferred method of priming my eyes because it cancels out any darkness. It evens out my eyelid and it prevents creasing, makes my eyeshadow last all day. So this is what the palette looks like. It has a plastic sleeve, and then you're left with the glittery cover and like this gold logo. It's cute. It's just cardboard, and in the back it has the names of all the shadows, the picture and the names, which I can appreciate. When you open it up, it has no mirror. It just says, "Believe in the beauty of your dreams." This is what the palette looks like inside. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really, really pretty. And I have swatched a few of these shades. And based on swatching, I'm not too impressed, but we'll see how they apply on the eye. I'm just gonna apply some translucent powder. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna go for, but I know I want to take that shade Dynamo. There is some kickoff. And I'm going to start just applying some packing motions. And then some swiping motions. And now to blend that out, I'm going to take Go Getter. And I'm going to take it into my little fan brush, the BH Cosmetics number 4. And just going to blend out the edges. So far they're blending out beautifully. And I'm going to take Dynamo back and re-intensify it. Just making sure those edges are blended. I'm going to take the brown shade Aspire and put it right at the bottom just to deepen with a little smudger brush. I'm just trying to deepen the crease. So far these are blending out really nicely together. And then I'm just going to go back with Dynamo. I'm going to go back into the paint pot and use this to cut the crease. So once I've pretty much gotten them somewhat even, I'm gonna go in and pack on, I don't know, I think I'm gonna do something bright. So I'm taking Daydream. I'm gonna spray some Fix Plus. I'm gonna apply it in the middle portion and see. So I'm kind of leaving the inner portion and the outer portion open. And so far, no fallout. I do have to pick up and swirl the brush in several times to pick up enough product in order to get more pigmentation. But as you can see, it's really pigmented. Like, that's a really bright pink, almost neon. The next shade that I wanted to use in the inner corner, and I'm gonna switch over to, it's a flat, almost like concealer brush. I'm gonna take Ritz, and I'm also going to spray Fix Plus. This one, I'm really having to almost dig deep to get product on my brush. Like, I just made a hole because it wasn't picking up the product. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in order for me to get this shade, I almost have to dig a hole to pick up enough product on my brush. I'm just gonna wipe down my brush, and for the outer, I'm gonna take the shade Illusion. This formula is a little softer, so I don't really have to dig too much to pick up the product. So I definitely wanted it to have a gradient effect. Okay, so on this side I applied it dry, like I didn't wet the product. So I did have a little bit more fallout, and the product wasn't as pigmented as I get it when I spray it. So basically, in order to get the pigmentation, you do have to wet your brush. I'm gonna wipe down the brush again, and I'm gonna take on that same brush a little bit more, the pink shade Daydream. I'm going to wet it again, and then I'm just going to reapply it just to make sure it doesn't get lost. I'm gonna go in with a liner, but just to add another color, I'm gonna apply the black shade called Hustler. I'm gonna add that to the outer corner, and then I'm gonna go back to Illusion and just blend that out. And I'm taking the fan brush, but I'm not adding any more product. Just gonna blend out the edges. On a small little brush, I'm gonna take the shade Haze. This one's really powdery, and just apply it to the brow bone. It has a little bit of shimmer. I'm gonna take this smaller brush. It's another one of those BH fan brushes, but this one's a number 6. It's a lot smaller. And I'm gonna go in with Dynamo, which was the initial shade we applied. And I'm gonna bring this to the bottom. And now I'm gonna wipe that same brush down, and I'm gonna go in with Go Getter and use this to blend out the edges. I'm gonna take fluffy brush with no product and blend out, make sure there are no harsh lines. And I'm just going to apply Hustler right and put it just right in the outer lash line. I'm gonna take another little small brush and I'm gonna take the shade High Hopes. It's like a peachy pink shade. And I'm gonna use this to apply to the inner corner. So this is the completed look. Okay, so let's talk about this palette. It includes 35 eyeshadows and it has an array of finishes from mattes to shimmers to some metallic shades. I ordered my palette through Ulta. I believe it retails for $19.99. I used my 20% off coupon that was being offered through Ulta, so I did get this for $15.99. Now, when I first got this, I couldn't help myself, but I did open it up and I did swatch a few of the colors, mostly colors that I was a little bit more interested in. So to begin this review, I just have to say that they do not swatch good. Some of these are very dry. For example, I'm going to show you the two first shades, Haze and Hopes, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So Haze is a lot more pigmented. It is more on like the shimmery side, and then High Hopes is more of like a metallic shade. I swatched both of them identical, and as you can see on my fingers, this one's Haze, this one's High Hopes. So I don't know if you can tell, the metallic shade does not look like a metallic shade, but once I swatch it, Haze starts looking more like a satin finish. So it's not completely matte, but it isn't a shimmer either. And then High Hopes, I can continue to swatch and honestly doesn't look like anything, but High Hopes is the shade that I'm using on my inner corner. I applied it with a wet brush, so it did give me the intensity that I was looking for. So like, again, the swatches on this palette are really not going to do them justice. I found some to be extra drying and crumbly and had to really dig in to get some pigment on my brush. But with those little tweaks, I was able to make it work, and it actually worked really good. Like, I wasn't expecting this much color to come off, especially on the mattes. Like, I really thought that the mattes were going to be more of a miss for me, but they worked really, really well. As you saw on my demo, I was able to apply like several eyeshadows on top of each other, and they blended out seamlessly with no problems, no patchiness. Like, it worked really good. Just the shimmer ones or metallic shades, I do have to say that in order to make them work and have the most pigment payoff, you do have to wet your brush. This is one of these palettes that you have to do that in order to get the results that you're expecting. So I'm kind of torn because initially I really thought this was going to be a miss for me. Again, the swatches weren't the greatest. I don't know. I'm torn because it's not a horrible palette. It actually impressed me in terms of like what my expectations were as soon as I swatched it. So in that aspect, I was really impressed. But then you also have to consider that there are a lot of palettes out there in the price range, perhaps even less than that I could totally recommend above this one. I can find so many more palettes that are more user friendly, I guess, if you want to say that it requires less of you to make them work. Again, comparing them to other brands, for example, like Wet n Wild or even BH Cosmetics, there's a lot of quality shimmer metallic shades that you don't need to wet your brush. You still get the intensity of the pigment. So when you compare them, this palette kind of comes up short, for in my opinion. And I guess for that reason, I would not recommend this palette. I have to say that this is just a pass for me in terms of recommending it to anybody. I would not. So that's pretty much it for this review/demo video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you next time. Bye.